In a small-town classroom, where whispers cut deeper than knives, Ellie Harper, a shy 16-year-old with a secret fire in her soul, faces her worst nightmare, a group of bullies tearing her shirt in front of everyone, exposing her vulnerability. But what happens next will leave you speechless. A single roundhouse kick that silences the room and changes everything. This is a story of courage, redemption, and the power of standing up. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. To join Ellie's journey and share in the strength of those who fight back against all odds, Ellie Harper sat in the back corner of her sophomore English class at Westfield High, her head bowed over a tattered notebook, her pencil scratching out lines of poetry no one would ever read. Her chestnut hair fell like a curtain, shielding her from the world. Westfield, a sleepy Ohio town where cornfields stretched farther than dreams, wasn't kind to girls like Ella, quiet, bookish, with clothes that screamed thrift store and a voice that barely rose above a whisper. She was invisible, or so she thought. Until the moment she wasn't. The classroom smelled of chalk dust and teenage sweat, the late September heat clinging to the walls. Mrs. Callahan droned on about Shakespeare, her voice a dull hum, while Ellie's classmates fidgeted, their eyes darting to phones hidden under desks. Ellie didn't notice the three girls in the row ahead, Brittany and Tara, whispering their smirks, sharp as blades. They were the queens of Westfield High, their confidence built on the ruins of others' self-esteem. Kayla, the ringleader, tossed her blonde hair and shot a glance at Ellie, her lips curling into a cruel smile. Ellie's stomach tightened, a familiar dread pooling inside her. She'd been their target before snide comments about her faded jeans, her scuffed sneakers, her silence, but today felt different. The air crackled with something darker. Kayla leaned back, her chair creaking, and whispered something to Brittany, who stifled a giggle. Tara, always eager to please, passed a folded note to a boy across the aisle. Ellie caught the movement from the corner of her eye, but kept her head down, her pencil pausing mid-word. The note made its way around the room, a silent virus spreading laughter. Mrs. Callahan, oblivious, turned to write on the board. Ellie's heart thudded. She knew that note was about her. It always was. Last week, they'd mocked her poem when she'd been forced to read it aloud, her voice shaking as Kayla mimicked her stutter. The memory burned, but Ellie swallowed it down, telling herself to stay small, stay safe. That's what her mother always said. Keep your head down, Ellie. Don't give them a reason. Her mother, a single parent working double shifts at the diner, had no idea how impossible that advice was in a place like Westfield High. The bell was still 10 minutes away when Kayla turned fully in her seat, her eyes locking onto Ellie's. "Hey, Ellie," she said, her voice loud enough to draw attention. "Where'd you get that shirt? Dumpster behind Goodwill?" The room erupted in snickers. Ellie's cheeks flushed, her fingers tightening around her pencil. The shirt was old, a faded blue button-up she'd found in her mom's closet, but it was clean, and it fit. She didn't respond, hoping silence would make Kayla lose interest. It didn't. Brittany leaned over, her glossy nails glinting as she tugged at the sleeve of Ellie's shirt. "Seriously, it's like falling apart. I can see right through." More laughter. Ellie's eyes darted to the door, willing the bell to ring. Tara, not to be outdone, reached across and grabbed the hem of Ellie's shirt, yanking hard. The fabric tore with a sickening rip, exposing Ellie's plain white bra and the pale skin of her stomach. The classroom exploded, gasps, hoots, a few nervous laughs. Ellie froze. Her breath caught in her throat, her arms crossing instinctively to cover herself. Humiliation burned through her, hot and suffocating. Kayla's laugh was the loudest, a high-pitched cackle that sliced through. The noise. "Oh my God, Ellie, you're such a freak," she said, standing now, encouraging the others. Brittany and Tara joined in, tugging at the torn fabric, trying to pull it off completely. The other students watched, some uncomfortable, some amused, none intervening. Mrs. Callahan, finally turning from the board, froze, her mouth opening in shock. But Ellie didn't see her teacher. She didn't see the faces gawking at her. Something inside her snapped it with a sound, but with a feeling, like a dam breaking under pressure. Her vision narrowed, the world slowing to a heartbeat. She stood, her chair scraping against the floor, and in that moment, Ellie Harper wasn't the shy girl who hid in the shadows. She was something else entirely. 3 months earlier, Ellie had started training at a small martial arts dojo on the edge of town. It was her secret, her sanctuary, a place where her mother's coworker, Mr. Chen, taught her to channel her quiet strength into something powerful. She'd been reluctant at first, dragged there by her mom's insistence that she needed to toughen up. But Mr. Chen, a wiry man with a graying ponytail and eyes that saw through her defenses, had taught her more than kicks and punches. "Your power isn't in your muscles," he'd said. "It's in your spirit. When the time comes, you'll know." Ellie had practiced her roundhouse kick 100 times, her legs slicing through the air with precision, but she'd never used it outside the dojo. Till now, her body moved before her mind caught up. She stepped back, creating space, her torn shirt flapping against her skin. Kayla, still laughing, didn't see it coming. Ellie's right leg chambered, her hips pivoted, and her foot arced through the air with a force that surprised even her. The roundhouse kick connected with Kayla's shoulder, not hard enough to injure, but firm enough to send her stumbling into Brittany, who yelped as they both hit the floor. The classroom went silent, the air sucked out of the room. Tara's mouth hung open, her hands frozen mid-tug. Mrs. Callahan gasped, her marker clattering to the floor. Ellie stood there, her chest heaving, her torn shirt a badge of her defiance. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel small. The silence didn't last. Mrs. Callahan shouted for order, her voice shrill as she rushed toward Ellie. Kayla, scrambling to her feet, pointed a trembling finger. "You're crazy," she screamed, her face red with embarrassment. "Ah! You're gonna regret that?" But Ellie didn't flinch. She met Kayla's gaze, her hazel eyes steady, and said, "Try me." The words were soft, but they carried a weight. That made the room feel smaller. The bell rang, shattering the tension, and students spilled into the hallway, whispering about what they'd just seen. Ellie grabbed her backpack, clutching her torn shirt to her chest, and walked out, her head high for the first time in years. By lunchtime, the story had spread like wildfire. Ellie Harper, the quiet girl, had knocked down Kayla Reed with a single kick. Some called her a hero. Others called her unhinged. The principal, Mr. Grayson, called her to his office. He was a stern man with a comb-over and a tie that never sat straight, and he didn't know what to make of her. "Ellie, we have a zero-tolerance policy for violence," he said, his hands folded on his desk. "But I've also heard what happened. Kayla and her friends have been disciplined, but I need to know why you didn't just walk away." Looked at him, her voice steady, despite the knot in her stomach. "Because I'm tired of walking away, sir. I'm tired of being invisible." Mr. Grayson sighed, scribbling something on a notepad. "You're suspended for 3 days," he said, "but between you and me, I'm glad you stood up for yourself. Just don't make a habit of it." Suspension didn't feel like punishment. It felt like freedom. Ellie spent those 3 days at the dojo, training harder than ever. Mr. Chen didn't ask what happened. He'd heard the rumors, but he pushed her to refine her technique, too. Channel her anger into control. "You've got fire, Ellie," he said one afternoon, wiping sweat from his brow. "But fire can burn you if you don't master it." Ellie nodded, her muscles aching but her heart full. She didn't tell him about the whispers she'd heard at the diner where her mom worked. Kayla's parents were furious, threatening to press charges. The town was split. Some saw Ellie as a victim who'd fought back, others as a troublemaker who'd gone too far. Ellie didn't care. For the first time, she felt like she was writing her own story. When she returned to school, the stares followed her everywhere. Some kids avoided her. Others gave her shy nods of respect. Kayla, Brittany, and Tara were quieter now, their power diminished, but Ellie knew it wasn't over. Kayla's pride was wounded, and wounded pride was dangerous. That Friday, as Ellie walked home through the cornfields, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see Kayla and a group of older boys, juniors, football players, the kind who thrived on intimidation. Kayla's smirk was back, but it was colder now, laced with something vicious. "You think you're tough now, huh?" she said, stepping closer. The boys fanned out, blocking Ellie's path. Her heart raced, but she remembered Mr. Chen's words. "Fear is just a signal. Use it." She dropped her backpack, her stance widening instinctively. One of the boys, a broad-shouldered kid named Derek, laughed. "Us all?" Ellie didn't answer. She scanned their positions, her mind racing through her training. There were 4 of them, too many to fight head-on, but she wasn't planning to. She bolted, sprinting toward a narrow path through the corn. The boys chased, their shouts echoing, but Ellie was fast, her legs carrying her through the stalks until she reached an open field. She stopped, turning to face them. Kayla was panting, her face twisted with rage. "You're done, Ellie," she spat. "No one's here to see you play, hero." But Ellie wasn't alone. From the edge of the field, 2 figures emerged. Chen and Ellie's mom, Claire. They'd been at the dojo, waiting for Ellie to walk home, when Claire had gotten a bad feeling and insisted on following her. Mr. Chen's presence was enough to make the boys hesitate. He didn't raise his voice. Didn't need to. "Go home," he said, his tone calm but unyielding. The boys muttered, backing off, and Kayla's bravado crumbled. Claire ran to Ellie, pulling her into a fierce hug. "I'm so proud of you," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "But you scared the hell out of me." Ellie laughed, a shaky sound, and hugged her back. That night, Claire and Ellie sat at their small kitchen table, talking for hours. Claire admitted she'd been wrong to tell Ellie to stay small. "I just wanted to protect you," she said. "But you're stronger than I ever was." The incident. In the cornfield didn't make it to the principal's office, Scala and her crew knew. Better than to push their luck, but it changed the town's perception of Ellie. She wasn't just the shy girl anymore. She was the girl who fought back, who stood her ground, who didn't need to shout to be heard. At school, she started speaking up in class, her voice growing steadier each day. She joined the debate team, surprising everyone with her quiet conviction. And when a freshman approached her one day, nervously asking for advice on dealing with bullies, Ellie didn't hesitate. "Find what makes you strong," she said. "And don't let anyone take it from you." But the story didn't end there. A year later, at the state martial arts tournament, Ellie stood on a mat, her GI crisp, her eyes focused. She'd trained relentlessly, her roundhouse kick now a thing of beauty, precise and powerful. The crowd watched as she faced her final opponent, a girl from a rival school who towered over her. The match was close, each point hard won, but in the final seconds, Ellie landed a perfect kick, earning her the championship. The crowd roared, and in the stands, Claire and Mr. Chen cheered loudest of all. As Ellie accepted her trophy, she caught sight of Kayla in the audience, her face unreadable. They hadn't spoken since the cornfield, but in that moment, Ellie felt no anger, only peace. She'd found her strength, not in proving others wrong, but in proving herself right. Ellie's story spread beyond Westfield, a small-town legend that inspired others. She started a self-defense class at the dojo, teaching kids especially girls how to stand tall. Her poetry, once hidden, found its way into the school literary magazine, each word a testament to her resilience. And though she'd always be the quiet girl at heart, Ellie Harper was no longer invisible. She was a force, a spark that lit up the darkness, showing the world that even the shyest souls could roar thank you for joining Ellie's journey. Story of courage that reminds us all to find our inner strength. We'd love to hear from you. Which part of the country are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments below, and let's connect over the power of standing up and fighting back.